Okay. Okay, we're just about ready to start now, and we are going to begin with one of our advisors and a professor here at Montgomery College, Professor Weiser, and she is going to give you a quick presentation on what not to do. So, yep, let's get started. Everybody, please welcome her. Give her a nice warm welcome.
So thank you, Amaya, Gabe, Sylvia, and all of our students helping support this. Remember, this program is funded by the MBI Cafe, and the Rockville Business Program and Enactus help support this. So I do want to point out we have some of the other faculty advisors for our Raptor Tank team sitting in the corner back there. So if you don't mind just saying hello.
My name is John College, and I'm on the business faculty. Should I also?
Yeah, of course.
I'm Patty. I'm the department chair.
I'm Joanne Frazier, and I'm professor.
And then we have a couple more helpful people in the corner here.
I'm Steve Lang. I'm the director of Macklin Business Institute.
And I'm Professor Yanishab. I'm one of the advisors to that business.
So we have a lot of people here to support the program, and I don't want to leave out, hopefully you recognize our judge that was here last week. Do you mind just saying hello one more time? Sorry, I caught you mid-bite. I'm so sorry.
I'm Stephen Samber. Nice to see you all.
So our new dean of this program, and I'm sorry, Danielle, you want to say hi too? So MCTV is also here. I do want to mention our new dean, who, wow, that was great timing. Dr. Davis will be joining us today. So hello, Dr. Davis. It's nice to see you again. So the new dean of our program is here to help support this. And what's amazing is she's an entrepreneur. She has multiple patents in her name. She owns a business. And so we thought, what a better way for her to start her first week at the college than to get to meet students from all across all of our campuses, lots of different majors, all excited about a business idea or an existing business. So Dr. Davis, I'm going to invite you to come. She's going to share a little bit of her insights with you on today's workshop, which is about business concept development. So our job here today is to try to help you explain your business idea. So Dr. Davis will help serve as a good example of what that should look like. We'll take a look at some bad examples too. Okay. Dr. Davis, please join us. Give a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to see you all here. I'm glad that this is such a terrific turnout. How exciting to see so many people interested in business and entrepreneurship. And everywhere you go, you're going to end up seeing business ideas. As soon as you get into that entrepreneurial mindset. I was just in an administrators meeting, and they were talking about enrollment and calculating enrollment. And I was thinking, they were saying, well, population growth goes into it, and high school graduation goes into it, and what's happening with the state of the economy goes into it. And they were pulling all these different elements from the audience of what might go into forecasting enrollment. And all I was thinking was, if somebody could create the algorithm for that and crack that nut and then sell that to community colleges and to universities, that would be a pretty darn good business they would have. And so, just in having conversations like that, as soon as you start thinking and having more and more of that entrepreneurial mindset, you'll start thinking about ways of monetizing everything, which isn't a bad thing. But and then you have the opportunity to do something with that money. You have the opportunity to give back in ways that are meaningful to you and the people that you work with. And so that was just something that I was thinking of within like the past 20 minutes that was top of mind. But I'm going to give a real quick bit about my background just so that you know where I'm coming from, and I hope I don't take too much of your time.
Please, our time is your big piece of our time. Thank you, Dr. Davis.
I was really fortunate. My father started his business in the house when I was in 8th grade. And I grew up at a different time than you all did, where people didn't do that. And so it was a real anomaly. Everybody thought that my dad was unemployed because he was at home all the time. But he had first a telex and then a fax and was able to do international business from the house. In fact, he did international sales for paper companies in primarily South America, Pacific Rim, and Europe. And I would come home from junior high or high school, and he'd say, oh, here's a letter of credit. Please proof it for accuracy. And boy, that's not what you want to do when you're coming home from junior high or high school. But it was so neat to be able to have that model, and I didn't realize what a blessing that was. I then ended up becoming his bookkeeper. There's no such thing as child labor laws when it's in the household. After I went to grad school and had my first job, I saw some opportunity and started my own consulting practice, and I was 26 years old, and I hung out my shingle because that's what you do. And I was so fortunate because my role model was my father that I thought that's what people do is they just start their own business. And as I got into education and was talking to a number of people, especially first generation students, that's when I realized how blessed I was. Because that's not what most people do, or at least that's not what they were exposed to. And so I'm very grateful that you all have heard about opportunities to create the businesses that you want. With my consulting practice that I had established at 26, one of my clients, about 12 years later, was a gentleman who developed a product called squid soap. And this is where the concept development comes in. And he had been noodling on what kind of product he could develop a patent for, sell it, make loads of money, and dash away ever after. I mean, there was nothing altruistic about it. That's what he wanted to do. That was the end goal. And he was in Nepal, and he noticed in a hike that he did that every stop that they made before every meal, they had to wash their hands, because if anybody got sick, they ended up having to be airlifted out of the group and couldn't keep hiking. And so he thought, okay, there's a business concept here. And he just kind of sat there thinking about it. And he decided, okay, I need to create a product that will mark people's hands and force them to wash them before doing another activity. And this is where I met him. And I was doing some market research for him, and that's where our relationship formed. And his big idea was a hand-marking doorknob that was on a baby gate that would go across a door that you had to intentionally mark your hand and turn the dial, and you do this funky stuff. And in the meantime, the baby's turning purple in the face, And I thought, oh, and then, of course, once you get the door open, your hand's marked, then you go wash your hands and go deal with the baby. And I thought, okay, you got a concept here, but your order of operations is kind of odd. And so we knocked about different ways and reasons that people would end up marking their hands intentionally before doing something. And so we thought about doing something on the flusher, on the toilet. We thought, and several focus groups definitely confirmed that the whole baby gate thing was, no. There were some grandmas, some like really fearful grandmas who's, yeah, that's great, and parents were like, no. So we brought it into the bathroom conceptually, and we looked at soap dispensers and getting people to intentionally put a mark on their hand and then washing their hands until the mark was gone. And that was acceptable to people. It was easy, it was intuitive. It made it to where parents could tell that their kids had washed their hands long enough to be effective without. How many of y'all sang the alphabet song while washing your hands when you were a kid? That was.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, same kind of thing. And so this kind of mechanized it a little bit. And and research was saying that parents were out there sniffing hands and all that. It took all of that off the plate. And market research loved it, but part of the concept was, where do you sell it? Is it a health and wellness thing? Is it just a soap dispenser? Why would that be important?
For marketing reasons, so you know where who you're advertising to.
Okay, good.
I had an answer. I think he just took it. I think it does have to do with the target market.
Okay. It is a marketing thing. So I like the way you're thinking, because I'm a marketing person, so I like the way you're thinking. What else? Why else would that be relevant? Think about your channel.
You can get like the most amount of sales. Depends on where you sell it, right? Like if you sell it at like a drugstore, you're gonna get like some amount. Whereas if you sell it at like, I don't know, like a Bed Bath and Beyond, where like families go to, you're gonna get more people to buy it.
Right. Correct. You're totally on target, and that goes into the pricing issue. Because at Bed Bath and Beyond, it would be a higher price point than it would be at CVS.
Right.
And so, is it volume or is it price point that drives things? And again, this goes into honing your product. From a distribution standpoint, we ended up getting distribution in CVS and Kroger and Walgreens and major grocery stores and pharmacies across the country, and into some Walmarts, but not nationwide distribution. And it was super important, and we did a good bit of research with the folks in grocery and pharmacies that they would prefer to have it on the soap aisle. And it had to be at a price point that was only a little bit more expensive than soft soap. They didn't see the healthcare premium. But if it was marketed as a healthcare product, perceptually it could end up being more expensive. And so this is the importance of market research and making sure that you understand not only your product and your consumer, but also your channel and what the needs of each level will end up being. And so when you're proving your concept, be sure to include all of the parties that will end up being involved. We ended up having the product manufactured in China, and so it had to, again, be something that had more of a soft soap type bottle. In terms of display on the store shelves, it had to be something that somebody who's cracking open a box can just shove it up there and it's done, especially at a Walmart, because all they do is open boxes and push them on shelves. And so these types of things need to be included in that vetting process. And so this is a really exciting time of thinking about your concept and what can end up coming of it. So,
Thank you. Do you mind if we let a couple people, if there's questions, ask questions?
absolutely.
Does anyone have questions for Dr. Davis?
Yes.
How would just the surface level? How would you go about developing a distribution concept if your business is a service rather than a product.
Okay. A little bit more information would be needed. And is it something that can be replicated? Is it, like education? I see I ended up moving in front of your screen here because I saw that I was on camera. But that could be replicated. And a lot of services can't. And so that certainly ends up impacting where you're going. And so it's hard to give it a quick answer to that. Can you give me a little bit more?
Like a restaurant
Okay.
or a coffee shop.
Okay. And so, and where those should be located?
Well, I just mean that your example of the soap thingy is really helpful, and marketing it as a healthcare thing versus I can't make words.
Oh.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I was asking more detail after the session, but if you're, yeah, I'll ask later. I'm sorry, I can't talk.
It's okay. And so essentially the way that the nature of the service, if it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, and how that can end up impacting location, is that kind of where you were headed?
I guess so.
Okay. And if you look at McDonald's and the way that McDonald's and Starbucks looked at real estate, a lot of what they looked at was the demographics in the area, the complaint area, what people were eating and drinking, and the traffic. I have a gentleman that is a friend of mine. When he was locating his coffee shop, it was a single location coffee shop, and he ended up for 4 days in a week, he went to a specific intersection, and Dell's corporate headquarters was on one of these corners. So there was a lot of traffic going there. And he took his little lawn chair, and he had a little thumb counter, and he was counting cars. And he was tracking those that turned left, those that turned right, and those that went straight. Those went into this strip mall, and those went into that strip mall. And those that went into the Walmart Supercenter. And he ended up, based on a really rudimentary traffic study, decided that this corner over here would be the best place for him to go, because people ended up having the easiest time getting in over there, not causing the backlog and everything else. So even something as simple as that can make a difference. So long answer, but hope that helps. Any other questions? Yes.
Consulting company that you started at 26, what happened to that?
Okay. I fell in love with teaching. I swear. I started developing curriculum for import and export, and got a little bit more and more taste of teaching, and ended up going back for a PhD, and took on clients as I was able to. And officially, I do still have my corporation, but the teaching and then the administration just took over the consulting practice. But yeah, I founded my company to do foreign market entry strategies in an industry that I knew very well, which was my family's industry, which was the most boring industry ever. It was the raw materials to make this stuff. Formica. Yeah, totally boring. Paper, plastic, resin, yeah. But it was a business. And the companies that supplied that industry needed insight, and they needed to know how to enter foreign markets that were expanding, like the BRIC economies of Brazil, India, Russia, and China. And that's what I was able to do. So, yeah.
How important would you say an idea is versus the execution of an idea?
I would put the execution over the idea. A lot of people have fabulous ideas, but the discipline to execute is needed, and the energy behind it is what can make it unique. Look at how many people make coffee. And so being dogged toward your execution is what will make a difference. Other questions?
This was helpful. Can we give a big round of applause for Dr. Laura, just to speak to you and to everyone who had questions, keep in mind we have several workshops. So next week we'll be doing a SWOT analysis workshop, which can help with the question that you brought up, as well as some of the marketing pieces, which will come the week following. Today we need to start the foundations. We kicked off, and we haven't gotten to hear everyone's names yet, and we don't know your ideas yet. So today is about telling us your idea and getting really good at sharing your idea with lots of people. So I want to address something right away, because I get this question all the time is, should I share my idea? Someone might steal it. Well, what do you think?
No one's gonna steal it.
No one's going to steal because yours is so unique and special. No one's going to, there's no competitors. There might not be right now, but I'll tell you, someone who has a similar industry could become a competitor. So should you share your idea because you're about to share it in front of, how many people watch MCTV now?
We go to the world. So
Oh my gosh, you're right, because we did it Facebook Live. Thanks, Danielle. We were on Facebook Live last year.
Our channel is 24/7 now too, on YouTube.
So thousands, oh my gosh, millions of people might see your idea. Should you share it and be part of this program?
I don't think anybody's idea is that good.
Nothing's that creative in this day and age. So I'm going to give you two different hats. So I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to put my lawyer hat for a second. We like to get some money and protect your idea. So Dr. Davis, you're still here. You have patents, right? Mm-hmm. So that's helpful to give you a little bit of a competitive advantage. There's some value to that in protecting your idea, your invention. You can't protect the idea itself, though. Okay? It can't just be a thought in your head and you can legally protect it. It needs to become something. We can protect the utility of it, the design of it. We can protect something creative you make. But legally, you can still get sued. That's why we make lots of money. We can still get sued, even if you protect it. Okay, someone can still go out and use a similar product, and it might look just like yours, and you're going to spend a lot of legal fees trying to fight them on it. And in the meantime, it's just going to create a fun headache for you. Okay, entrepreneur hat. When we have entrepreneurs come speak to you, Shai Pavani will be here in a couple of weeks for our marketing workshop. He will tell you to share your idea with as many people as you can, which you're going to do as part of this program, right? Why would he say that? Why should you share your idea with so many people, starting with today?
Because you get feedback from other people if the ideas are good or not. Also, I guess they will tell you what's missing in the ideas. You can build on it.
Good. I love how you said build on it, too. We're not even saying it's a bad idea, but how can we make it better, or how can we use it in a different way? So Dr. Davis had a client with a great idea, right? But he was trying to make this gate. I have a daughter at home, and I'm going, I need to get to her in a few seconds. I would not use a gate. I can't even get through the regular baby gate, and they're like adding extra complicated things that won't work for me. Okay, so it's helpful to hear what might be new ways to use your idea in better markets or to add on to it. So today we're going to focus on communicating the idea well, also for each of you. So we're going to take a look at someone who doesn't do such a good idea pitching their idea. Okay, we're keeping the end goal in mind here, which is that competition day when you're sharing your idea with many. Start now practicing communicating your idea, because you'll find if you get a lot of questions about your idea, perhaps they don't understand it clearly. You're not communicating it in a way that they can understand. So let's take a look. I'm going to jump forward here just in the sake of time here. Watch the video clip. We don't want to sound like these guys. Dr. Davis speaks very well. You know, she told you very clearly, it was very clear what her business was, what they were doing. We want to avoid, that was a good example of what you should do. We want to avoid what these guys are about to do. So while you're watching, please keep your eye out for some of the things you think they're not doing very well. If you don't mind, our wonderful student leads, Gabe, Sylvia, and Amalia, if you don't mind clicking on that link for me, that'd be so helpful.
So the long and the short of it is the website is in trouble. I hear you guys can help.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. Not a problem. 100%. Let us explain a little bit about what our company, Brush Farm Media, does.
Okay.
Unfortunately, our other partners, Kyle Chadwick and Moog, couldn't be here. And what they're doing, Samba?
No.
Sandbro?
No.
Sandbrand. Sandbrone.
I like Sandbone.
What's actually interesting about Sandbone is they are pitching a straight to Nokia-based smartphone app called 5 Square. Similar to 4 Square, except that it's for medical professionals who have HPV. What Brushfire Media does is a little different. We started in our dorm room at Oswego College 4 years ago as a way to seamlessly fuse branded integrations with content creators such as yourselves.
What does any of that mean?
If I could just drive the bus for a second. Okay. Branded integration from a user-side content platform is dad. It's dad. It's totally dad. It's dad. It's dad. And I don't mean to offend anyone. That is why we started Movie Mood Digital, okay? To focus on SEO, keyword-rich trend tracking, and have had a lot of success on the mobile-to-mobile, tablet-based client side. So then we use that momentum with our silent partners, Brady, Chad, Dexter, Tyler, and Tim. We started Gizcrunk Media, which provides...
Okay, I think we get the point, right? So what are some of the things that we should avoid doing that we saw featured in this clip? Anyone who hasn't had a chance yet? Go ahead, Laura.
They brought up companies as a reference point, like, we're like this, but we do that. I have a feeling you don't want to do that because you're reminding the person you're talking to, okay, why don't I just go to your competition that you just mentioned?
Okay, so thank you, Laura. Possible sales tactics here, naming some of the competitors. It might say, hey, well, they're a lot cheaper. You know what, they do have better customer service. It might give them ideas. In some cases, it can actually help, though, to communicate an idea, to relate a little bit. So when Shai Palvani comes in a couple weeks from now, he does what I call, and you can correct me, Amalia, because you interned there, but I call it the Uber of office catering. And so that helps it make sense. It's not a rideshare business. It's about selling food, but it helps people understand a little more like, hey, they're kind of changing the way we do things. It's not like a taxi. Here it's not like regular catering. It's a whole marketplace for catering. So there can help you a little bit in how you describe your idea in some cases. What are some things we saw that were not great here? Go ahead.
I still don't know what their idea was.
Oh my gosh, isn't that a horrible thing? Do you think he knew? The client? I don't know. I have no idea. So he obviously wasn't communicating it well. We're going to get really good at that today. What else was wrong with their pitch here? Go ahead, way in the back. Oh.
How they just presented themselves. Yeah, all right, yeah. It's like, I don't know, you need to be consistent and just have like same voice and that you're clear and you're not just like I just thought that was
Unprofessional, thank you. So you're focusing on the verbal language being used. There's a lot of slang and, in fact, a lot of jargon. They were using industry jargon, throwing in some nice sounding words that perhaps the person you're speaking to doesn't understand. And not everyone has a business education just because they have a business, or they might not be familiar with that particular area. If they're bringing you in to do tech work, for example, they might not know all the techie stuff. You want to be careful about the language you're using. What else was unprofessional about their conduct? Go ahead.
Their dress, wearing glasses.
Sunglasses, and they were inside too. They're so cool, aren't they? Sunglasses inside. I'm wondering why. What else was not okay about the way they're dressed?
It's more casual. It's not professional.
Second, be a little more casual. I always say dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Don't take that too literally. I had a boss come in. I'm from Massachusetts in a Red Sox jersey. So just be careful about that. But, you want to dress professionally and be careful about how you're sitting, right? If you're at the table with your like this and you're like this, you look like you want to be there. Even just crossing your arms, you might look like you won't want to be there. So be careful about what you're doing with your hands and how you're responding. He wasn't being that casual. They got very casual. Anything else we saw that was wrong?
You're using his phone.
Thank you. Not one of you's on your phone right now. Thank you. Great. That looks good. Okay. Is it polite to be on your phone in a meeting? No. So, we used to call that the AT&T prayer when I worked at AT&T and they were just coming out with them. People would sit at the meeting with the phone under, and you do it in class sometimes, right? Never in my class, and none of yours, right?
Right.
Never in our classes, but you sit with them. We can see you doing that, so we just want to be careful. Okay, they were on the phone and the phone was buzzing a lot. It distracts not only the client, but also their own flow, which isn't great. Anything else they were doing wrong? So the last piece I'll say is listening. You want to listen constructively. He was saying, I don't understand. He seemed confused, and they just kind of kept going. Okay, so listen to what the person you're talking to is saying and curious about. That way you know what maybe the confusion is stemming from. And if one person's confused, someone else could be too. So even if you think you're being super clear, you might not be. So we're going to practice right now. We're going to start sharing our own ideas. So I'm going to let you come up because we really wanted to get to know you last week, and there was just so much going on, we didn't even get your names. So So what we're going to ask you to do is to come up in front of everyone. With the end goal in mind, there'll be a lot more people in the room on the competition day. We just want you to share your name and tell us your idea. Okay? And then, if any of the faculty in the room have any feedback, please feel free to share it with them later. If any students have any feedback, please feel free to tell them in the group me, which you should all be signed up for, and I know you're not all signed up for. So sign up tonight after you get that email, okay? Give each other feedback about those ideas. Help each other. So business is about getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. You're telling us your idea today. Here are some helpful guidelines. Okay, first of all, we're super low on time. So if you start going over a minute, we're going to politely ask you to sit down. Keep it short. Okay, focusing on the problem, Dr. Davis gave us a great story about the problem in terms of washing your hands well enough to actually clean them, how it was a solution and how she formed a solution for it, and then what it means. That's really neat. What does it mean for the customer? I think that goes back to what she was saying in terms of who can this be a value for, and what is that value? Personalize it. If you find yourself getting bored midway through if you see people getting bored midway through your idea and it's only 1 minute, that's not a good sign that there's high demand for it. But make sure you're personalizing it. Tell them your story. Like, hey, I created this thing because I was really not excited about making money. I was really excited about soap. Okay, I'm not that excited, but soap, that's great. So her client was more excited about the money piece, but if you're passionate about what you're making, there's usually a good story behind it. So please share that. So we're going to go ahead and kick off because we're going to respect your time and make sure we end at 5. Who wants to be the first brave soul? And then we're going to go around the room. I love it. Thank you. You guys are a team, right?
Yes.
Is anyone else a team, or is everyone else individual? Everyone else is. You're our team, our partners. You can come up first. Remember your name and tell us your idea.
Hello, I'm Sina Gahari.
I'm Bhavesh Sani. We're Team Vibes.
Team Vibes.
Team Vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to make it fast, efficient, and convenient for students to travel within the campus, within the big college campuses.
So yeah, I had a friend like in the summer. He was taking summer classes at UMD, and he got sick like in the middle of the summer. And I was like, dude, why are you sick? He's like, because it was so far to walk from his first class to his second class. He sweat so much, and then he went in the building, and it was super cold, and that's how he thought he got sick. And then like we sort of were like, why is there no other convenient way to travel across big campuses? And we came up with the idea of
Electric scooters. We want to start electric scooters the same way you have bicycle docks, the same way we're going to start electric scooter docks, so students can just pick it up, travel to whatever building, leave the scooters there.
Yeah. Also from their dorm rooms. We're also like thinking of different ways where we could implement how they would pay for it. It could be like an hourly rate or like a monthly subscription, because if you know, all Manelios love monthly subscriptions. So that's what.
Thank you, team. That was a great team. We're going around. Who wants them? I'm going to let you choose which side we start circling on.
Right.
Go ahead. We're going to go around this way, so get ready.
Hello everyone, my name is Luis Rivas. I'm a student here studying electrical engineering. I'll keep it very short and brief just because I don't really have an idea right now, like a solid idea, but I have thought about like what I want to do, and I've been thinking about coming up with a business oriented towards helping students come up with, explore what they want to do, because a lot of times I feel like students might not necessarily know what they want to do like in a major, so they just choose something very general, like, just like the things that pay the most. So I was thinking I could start like a business that kind of like mentors these kids and shows them what it's really like to like go through, like internships, connect them with contacts, and yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Salma Philogen, and my business idea is about transportation, and it's most likely about electric car. What I wanna base it in where I'm from. there is trouble about gas, and then I was thinking if we have electric car in my country, there will be that issue. That's all.
Okay, so hi, I'm Layla Gilbert Rivera, and unfortunately, I don't have a fully fleshed out idea, but I would like to make something or take something and make it more eco-friendly, since that's one of the biggest issues for me and I feel like our country right now. So that's just step one.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Evangeline. I have already started prior years ago a company, a little business, a cupcake business, and I'm going to continue on with that. But back then I wasn't vegetarian, but now I'm vegetarian and I want to change my whole concept to similar to what you just mentioned. I don't want to just make the cupcakes, I want to do them pre-made, and there's no current line on the market with glass. So I was thinking to kind of revamp that and make my cupcakes that were already, I guess, proven that people liked over the past 4 years and when I was in high school, and turn them into actual packaging product. So yeah, I haven't really thoroughly thought about the whole thing yet, but that is the general idea.
Hi guys, my name is Samson. My idea was, I don't know how many of you guys play video games. I'm sure you guys would like PS4s or Xbox, but to be honest, PCs are way better. Graphics are way better on PCs. Unfortunately, they cost like $2,000 almost. My idea was like to have a space where there were a bunch of gaming computers, where you could go like pay an hourly rate or something like that. So like anyone could use a gaming computer, and like streaming games has been becoming a lot more popular. I don't know how many of you guys know about Ninja. He also uses like gaming computers. That was my idea. Make up a space with a bunch of gaming computers that anyone can use.
Hello everyone, my name is Kibus Adunya, and my idea is a tutoring company, non-profit. I'm actually running it. So basically it's tutoring for those who cannot pay the for-profit tutoring companies. So anybody can have access to this tutoring. The tutors are college students, exceptional college students, and in some cases professional tutors. And anybody can access it, even a mom with like a full-time job, 2 kids, a single mom, is going to be able to have to get a tutor for her kids. I'm currently running it. I have 8 customers. I'm actually the only one working on it. Like, this is my full-time gig, but I'd like to expand it and work on it with all of you and so on. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody. My name is Courtney, and my business concept or my business plan is going to be about hair extensions. And it's very different from everybody else's perspective, but I feel as though that I actually started this with an issue with my mother. She's a hairdresser, and she's noticing that over time that a lot of people aren't taking care of keeping up with their natural hairs, and they're adding all these extensions and doing that. So I just wanted to add on to her business and see where it can go from there with the hair extensions. And yeah, so that's what my plan is for right now.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jairo. I'm currently a personal fitness trainer. I want to develop my industry in the health and fitness field so that whether it be mothers, whether it be older adults who have chronic pain, that they can strengthen their body to get about, move about, enjoy the grandchildren, enjoy their personal lives, whether it's climbing the mountains, going from one campus building to the other. You know, if you're in great health, that wouldn't be much of a problem there. So that's what I got for you all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Feliz. I'm studying computer science at Montgomery College. The business idea that I came up with is trying to develop an application to help students with academic plan in studying, because I've seen that people, it's hard to get academic advice in different colleges, because you have a lot of people who need help, but you have few counselors, and most people would like to go to program advisors, but the line gets really long, and they don't get the help right away. So it will be great to create some sort of application, sort of product to service to help them choose the classes that they need, and also include some sort of plan to study, knowing like what the time that they need to spend per class and other things. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Nate. I'm a computer science major here. My idea is I'm actually building upon it. So the issue that I'm trying to address is the parking spaces that are really limited around campus. So I'm planning on coming up with like an idea of carpooling, where students can give their information, and then I'll be matching them with students around their neighborhood that will be coming to campus on time that they need. And I don't have like a huge idea of monetizing it. It's going to be more towards the social, but if it grows, it can actually be a good monetizing idea. Thank you.
My name is Wilbur, and my idea is opening up a sneaker consignment shop where you could buy and sell and exclusive kicks and streetwear, and also get your shoes customized by me. And basically that's it.
My name is Caroline, and about 2 years ago I started a baking business called Sweets by Caroline, and I specialize in making macarons and cakes and cupcakes, and I cater for different parties, wedding engagements and weddings and things like that. And I want to expand into like farmers markets and working with other like small businesses in the community, and yeah.
Hi everyone, my name's Laura DeMarco, and I'm a huge literature nerd. I've been reading since I was 3, I've been writing since I could form a sentence. Not very well, but I have. And I think we've all noticed that the idea of enjoying a book is sort of dying out. I've heard kids over the years say that reading is fantastic, but once they're forced to do it for school, it kind of ruins it. So what I want to do is open a coffee shop that is entirely drenched in the atmosphere of classic literature, and you can go in and you can have good food and enjoy the experience and develop a new appreciation for reading in an avenue that doesn't feel like it's pushing you into a corner, that feels more open, so you can come to it at your own place. And you get food. Who doesn't like to eat? So that's the idea, and I'll refine the pitch later, but I hope you like it.
Hi, my name's Steven, and for the past couple of years I've been selling sneakers. So I originally started just buying and selling, just reselling off of eBay and everything. I used to sell lots of my basketball team and everything. But after a while, I started a business where I would price my inventory, my shoes, lower than what they're worth, And to offset the cost, I would charge a $5 monthly subscription fee to my website. So that's how, if you pay the subscription fee, you can have access to my website when I sell shoes. And that's how I make money instead of just buying stuff. So.
Hi, my name is Pranav. My idea is based on the concept of like hedge funds. Does everyone know what a hedge fund is? All right, okay. So hedge funds are basically so people who invest into firms, and people who are like other investors. They invest into markets and try to make more funds for the people who invested in them. So my idea is similar to that. So what I found was a lot of people in here, actually two of you guys, are both into streetwear and sneakers. What I found is that sneakers and streetwear, after retail, they're priced at such high points that like normal people can't buy them. So what I found was, so my idea is called hype funds. Basically, people pay me money to buy them sneakers at low prices, and I sell it to them at a little bit over retail. The reason why I'm the middleman here is because it's so hard to get access on these like limited edition sneakers, and when you put them on eBay or on StockX, they're at such high prices. And my company idea could also provide people to sell their sneakers at those higher prices, and my company takes a certain commission off of it. And that's it. That's my idea.
We have one more. Oh,
Yeah, we have
two
two
more. You guys
more.
are both
Yeah,
hiding.
they're hiding in the back.
Hi guys, so I'm an electrical engineering major and I'm actually still working on my idea, but one of my favorite hobbies is hiking, and the problem is that whenever you go hiking, it can get really cold. So I was thinking, I had an idea where you take a regular jacket and you basically put the technology for an electric blanket into the jacket. So while you're hiking, it like keeps you warm and everything. I was thinking the power source would be solar panels on the back of the jacket. The only problem that I have to admit is safety. So basically, when you're wearing the jacket, it's basically like a circuit board. So it's like kind of dangerous, and it could catch fire, which is, yeah, they'll keep you really warm, but a little bit too warm. So I'm working on that part, but I was also thinking that if it can produce enough energy to also charge your phone, that would also serve as like a second purpose. So yeah. But Allison.
Good afternoon, fellas. My name is Ricky Gonzalez. I graduated from high school in 2008. I joined the Marine Corps directly after, and I served my 8 years. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan. I took a year off of school, decided to come back in 2018. Why not, right? Get my also an electrical engineer major. So if you need help with that, I got some ideas for that also. I'm actually taking over my father's company, something I actually helped him out with his idea because he used to be a handyman. Now he actually runs an outstanding construction company. We actually been to Fort Belvoir, Paris Island, where they actually make the Marines, right? Where I went to boot camp, just FYI. And what I would actually like to do is actually expand the company, get it on the West Coast, not just here in the DC metropolitan area, but and we actually have a section down in Texas, San Antonio, Texas. And as of right now, it's just expansion and marketing is what I need to work on. So yeah, that's it.
I think we have everyone. So how did that feel, your first time sharing your idea in front of all these people? Testing ideas. So here's the fun part. Remember, we videotape, so this will be uploaded, and our wonderful student leads are going to send this out to you so you actually can watch yourself. So that's one of my big tips when students are practicing presenting publicly. Videotape yourself and see what you do. My first time being on video, they videotape me, and I use my hands so much. And so you'll notice I have this clicker, and it's like my lifesaver because I just hold on to it so that I don't go like this the whole time I'm talking and distract you, just like I'm holding these papers right now. So you can find ways to help with some of your weaknesses, even if it's holding a pen, but you might not realize you're doing it until you watch yourself. On top of that, we're going to recommend and highly ask you to do this wonderful homework assignment, which Professor Blumen, I want to give credit to you for this because this originally came from you, even if it was 5 years ago when we first started. So this is a wonderful worksheet to help you develop your business concept. So you had a chance to practice doing your idea here. This is a way for you to actually start really thinking about the value you bring, how you're going to tell this story, kind of articulating it on paper quickly. So if you only have a minute to sell someone, hey, I'm in Raptor King. Oh, well, what's your business idea? You can really make sure you nail it in that 1 minute. And so we're going to ask that you fill this out, not this second, of course, but as your homework, that you fill this out, and as many people as you can go to, thanks, Evangeline, as many people as you can go to, make sure, here you go, everyone get one. And they'll also send it out in the email. Remember, we'll send you all the materials and the videos and the emails after the workshops. So as many people as you can go to, practice saying your idea and see what happens. So let them ask questions. We didn't have time in this setting. Let them ask questions, and you might need to go back to the drawing board and change it up a little bit. If they're confused about something, think about a new way to explain it. Ask them to explain it to you. Well, how would you explain it? You know, someone who's not so excited about it, passionate about it, they might be able to explain it how they're understanding it, and that can help you with some clarifying. And so tell teachers, tell friends, tell your family, and start working on improving how you articulate the value and what your idea really is. So this should hopefully be a helpful tool for that, for each of you. And thank you for sharing your ideas. We have some good ones this year. A lot of sneakers going on. A lot of sneakers. So when I was talking, what did you say? Street shoes, sorry. Good correction. So one of the things that I also talk about when we talk about sharing ideas, you asked Dr. Davis, is about the idea or the execution. How many of you use MySpace right now? You're laughing. I always get one. Thank you so much. And how many of you use, Facebook's not even cool anymore. I can't even remember. So is it Snapchat's the thing now? So raise your hand if you're using Snapchat. Is that the one? Okay. So how many of you are still using Facebook? Okay, good. Okay, great. So, Facebook and MySpace, they come out and they both could have done really well. Similar ideas. It was about the execution, right? At the time, everyone was using Facebook. The past couple of years, apparently, I'm still on it, but apparently it's not as cool. I don't know. So think about that in terms of the execution. It'll help you to execute, to talk to your market. So next week, you'll get to learn more about SWOT analysis to better understand your market. Please start looking. Many of you have ideas that are kind of already out there. You want to think about the value you bring. And it's okay. There's multiple pizza shops. There's multiple coffee shops. But will that affect your pricing? Is there something you could do to do it differently? So start looking. It's not good to have even a new idea and then find out later down the road, oh, that wasn't so new. Okay? Who might be my competitors? You should start looking now. So I'm going to let our wonderful student leads close. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you enjoyed our workshop this week.
A big thank you to Professor Weiser, and a big thank you to you all for coming and being brave enough to share your idea. I know it's really hard to do. We just have a few reminders before we close the evening.
One of the big ones, this was the homework, one of the big ones from Mr. Lang in the back. I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting. You have a big announcement.
Do you want me to give you an announcement? Let's do the reminders, and then we'll save that for last because it's very exciting.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't joined the GroupMe yet, if you can go ahead and do that, we'll send a link again in the follow-up email to this workshop. We'll also send a video we have recorded the workshops if you guys want to rewatch that. As Professor Weiser said, it's always good to watch yourself as you present. I use my hands a ton, something I should work on. So yeah, if you there's things that you guys want to work on, look at how you present. I hope you guys found that advantageous. There's a lot of similar ideas, a lot of people, as we heard someone say, if you want some help with that, that was cool to see that there's a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different majors. So just putting your idea out there gives people, it creates a network, someone who might be able to help you in one way or another. You can't have that help. We're here to help you guys. Faculty is here, and of course each other. So we're looking forward to how everyone's idea develops.
And with the email, we'll also have the faculty's office hours, so you're more than welcome to come in or schedule an appointment with them to talk and discuss your business idea further. So I think that's about it. Thank you once
That's
again.
about it from us.
Yeah. And then Mr. Lang has some very exciting news, if you could please share.
Sure. Well, at least I think it's
It's very
exciting.
exciting. Trust me.
You're gonna be really disappointed. You all know that there's prize money for Raptor Tank, right? We have first prize, second prize, third prize, and then the Audience Choice Award, which is great. One of the reasons this was moved to the fall is we have done this. It's been great for 4 years, but what happens is students get their award money and they've kind of gone through the process and then they are gone. They leave and we're not actually helping them develop their businesses. And so the other thing is only 4 people at most get to win, right? So what we've done with MBI is committing another $2,500, which is not part of the prize money. It's going to be part of micro grants after the competition is over. So for students that, whether you won or not, you would apply to get reimbursed for expenses that are going to actually jump-starting your business. So any former contestant for Raptor Tank, which means you went through to present on the 14th, not at the final competition. So even if you don't even make it to the finals, you'll be able to apply for a small grant that will actually help with reimbursement of expenses that are moving your business forward, because that's our goal. It's not just to have prize money, it's actually to help you build and grow your business. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. So there's actually now more financial rewards on the table for all your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. We're gonna stick around. A few of us are gonna stick around, but other than that, we look forward to seeing you guys next week. So,
And
thank you
if
for
you,
coming.
one more thing, if you came late and forgot to sign in, please do so.
Where did you find the video?
Oh, we're gonna send it out in the email. Yeah.